As we recorded several days ago, there is a brand new revelation in Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker, that being the fact that the ancient Sith Lord Darth Revan was actually canonized in the form of Sith troopers, where in The Rise of Skywalker it was revealed to us that the Sith troopers were given individual units and legion names by Darth Sidious himself, and the Eternal Sith and the Sith cultists on Exegol. Although this may not seem like a big deal at first, the names that were given to these specific legions were the names of ancient Dark Lords, meaning that every single new name that appears there instantly canonizes an ancient legends depiction of a Dark Lord. As I mentioned previously, Revan has actually officially been canonized by this, and another Sith Lord which is one of my personal favorites from Legends continuity, Darth Andeddu, the Sith God King, who belongs to the 5th Legion of the Sith Troopers. I believe there's also very specific reasoning as to exactly why Darth Sidious chose to name the 5th Legion after Darth Andeddu, because Darth Andeddu was one of the first Sith Lords that ever tampered with the prospect of eternal life, in a different way than Darth Sidious's own master Darth Plagueis did with the midichlorians, but with essence transfer, another dark side ability, and a dark side ability that's actually briefly referenced in The Rise of Skywalker, or at least something similar to it when regarding Darth Sidious. So again, the gist of this video is, along with Darth Revan, now Darth Andeddu has in fact been officially confirmed Star Wars canon, and did exist in the canon Star Wars universe, but I just don't want to make a really short video explaining that. Now, I'd like to talk a little bit about who Andeddu was, and his significance to the Sith Lords that came before him. This does all strictly come from Legends continuity, but again, canon is inspired by Legends. Darth Andeddu, also referred to as the Immortal God King of Prakith, was an ancient humanoid male who reigned as the Dark Lord of the Sith, and was dubiously thought of as the forebearer of the Darth title, meaning he inherited it first. A paranoid man, Andeddu believed that his subordinate Sith Lords, whom he regarded as his enemies, wanted to claim his vast collection of Sith lore and rituals for themselves, a suspicion that would ultimately be proven correct, as although Darth Andeddu reigned over the Sith Lords, he was not well loved like the Sith of past such as Tula Cord. As he feared, Andeddu was eventually betrayed and overthrown by his followers, forcing him to flee the planet of Korriban for the Deep Core. Andeddu made the world of Prakith his domain, where he ruled for centuries as a deity and a god until his physical demise, at which point in time he entombed himself in an attempt to deprive his pursuers of power they sought to steal from him, even after he fled his original Sith homeworld. Prior to his physical death though, Andeddu stored all of his wisdom within a holocron that would prove to be invaluable in the centuries for the Sith Lords to come, wanting to acquire all of the knowledge of Andeddu. Most of all though, the most precious information within the holocron was contained the most arcane secrets of the Sith Lord, the ability to cheat death by transferring one's essence into another vessel. In the years following his death, a Sith cult founded originally by Lord Andeddu called the Malevolence constructed a Sith temple in reverence to their Dark Lord and their god, and guarded the fortress for generations in anticipation of the God King's return to the galaxy, as they believed that he did not truly die, another similarity shared with Darth Sidious in the new Star Wars canon, followers that never believed that he truly perished. The legend of Darth Andeddu and his incredible powers remained at large long after his death, and the Jedi Order even attempted to erase all knowledge and reference of the Dark Lord from galactic record, deeming him one of the most influential and dangerous Dark Lords of the Sith that had ever lived. Despite never directly warring with the Jedi Order, they feared the knowledge and the existence of his holocron. Despite their best efforts, whispers of Andeddu's existence still remained prevalent. His holocron survived as well. First uncovered by the fallen Jedi Frida Nab, next by the Sith Lord Darth Bane on Prakith in 980 BBY, or before the Battle of Yavin, basically the events of Star Wars A New Hope. Then it was rediscovered by Count Dooku on Korriban in 21 BBY, and later was recovered by the Dark Lord of the Sith, one Sith, Darth Krayt, whose servant, Darth Warlock, would eventually manage to destroy the spirit of Darth Andeddu, taking all of his knowledge for his own. During his final confrontation with Darth Warlock though, Darth Andeddu was able to momentarily transfer his essence into another, and although he was defeated, he proved that essence transfer was in fact successful, and was not a farce as many other Sith and Jedi concluded that it might be. His corpse, however, was resealed within the tomb that had housed it for countless millennia, and his collection of Sith doctrine was pillaged by Darth Warlock. Still though, Darth Andeddu is one of the longest surviving Sith Lords in all of Star Wars Legends, predating the era of the Clone Wars and all the way after Return of the Jedi and the death of Luke Skywalker. Although he was not directly involved in many of these events, he was still alive within his holocron essentially, and he did not completely die, similarly to Darth Sidious, which is why I speculate Sidious may have reverence for Andeddu in The Rise of Skywalker. Anyway though, what are your guys' thoughts on the Sith God King Darth Andeddu, and how he has now been officially canonized along with Revan and others? I will be making videos about the other Sith Lords that were canonized by the Sith Troopers in The Rise of Skywalker, so stay tuned for that. As always my friends, thank you so much for watching, may the Force be with you, and have a great day.